What's up guys, Eli here, back for another USBM video. As always, per my rules, I have 5 albums here, and yeah, let's get started. Starting with 1999's debut full-length album from Forest of Impaled Demon Void. This is their second release. They had an EP before this, and I think this band is killer. They're, where are they from? I don't remember where they're from, other than, obviously the US. This is, I think their EP was more black metal sounding. This is still very much black metal, but maybe, death metal started to creep in, which they would, they'd add more death metal into their sound later on. But this is just great. Well written, well recorded, well played, good musicianship. If you like all those things in a reasonable production, if you like your black metal a little bit more chunky, just a little bit of death metal, kind of invading the black metal sound. Chicago, I think they're from Chicago. Definitely check out Forest of Impaled. I think one of the more underrated black metal bands from the U.S. You can't go wrong with anything out of their catalog. And from 2012, you have the 8th full-length album from Sathanas. They formed as early as 1988. They're out of Pennsylvania. La Hora de Lucifer, this album is called. You can't go wrong with any Sathanas album. Are they pure black metal? No, not even close. They are, this is a black death metal. Some of their stuff, I would say honestly, they're more of a death metal band, but you would not have Sathanas without a black metal sound as well. So they're black death metal, just maybe a little bit more heavy on the death metal. And then, like I said, they've been around forever. Like I said, 88. These are one of the earlier purveyors of this kind of music in the U.S. Sound-wise, they're very simple, old school sounding, very primitive, just primitive, early death metal with early black metal. That's what you're getting here. No frills, no gimmicks, just really good music. That's why they're loved to this day. And from 2006, you have the Soul full length from Ordo Tyrannus. They formed in 2005. They're out of Texas and Washington. It's 2 guys, both living obviously different parts of the U.S. Now this is kind of a weird one. Michael Ford, by the way, is one of the 2. Michael Ford from Black Funeral and many other projects. This is like industrial black metal. I think you'd call this. It's definitely black metal, but it's also definitely very industrial. It's very mechanical sounding, very cold, kind of ritualistic, because that's just kind of what Michael Ford does. Very creepy, just very machine-like. If you like that kind of stuff, you might dig this. If you don't like that kind of stuff, there's no way you would like this. It's almost not even really in my wheelhouse, but I do like and appreciate some experimentation in the black metal genre. It's one of the few genres, oddly enough, that I actually kind of welcome experimentation. Doesn't mean I'm going to like it, but I feel like with death metal, you have to leave it alone. Death metal, I want to hear it straightforward. I don't really want to hear any added elements. Every now and then, obviously, it's work. Don't get me wrong. But with black metal, I don't know what it is. I just feel like, though I do, usually steer towards the more traditional stuff, some of the more experimental types of black metal really works for me. So yeah, Ordo Tyrannus, weird one, but worth checking out if you're into the weird stuff. From 2002, we have the debut album from Serpent Eclipse. So this band, it's one guy, so I guess call it a project. Formed in '95 in New Hampshire. This is helmed by Scott DeFusco, who you might know from December Wolves. I think he was in Trap Them, but I could be wrong. I'm not a Trap Them fan, but he was definitely in December Wolves. So obviously he has a love for black metal. And my guess is, I think December Wolves might have been done by the time this came out. So it was cool to hear Scott continue to do black metal, and not only do black metal, but do it all by himself. Everything. I don't know if the drums are programmed, but so this is some really raw stuff. This is way more raw than December Wolves ever were. December Wolves are more of a second wave sound, and this is not that. This is more of I mean, it does sound of the time, which not at all a bad thing. In early 2000s, I think there was a lot of black metal coming out. In fact, I would even say some of the best black metal came out in the earlier 2000s. So this is raw, but really well done considering it's just one guy. So definitely check into Serpent Eclipse. By the way, this is called The Seven Desires in Wolf's Blood. It's really good. I haven't pulled it out for a long time. It's out now, so I should throw it on soon. But Serpent Eclipse, check it out. And the last one we have today is from 1999, I think. I can't remember for sure. Anyways, we have the Lords of Algol with Disciple of the Mysteries. So, Lords of Algol, they formed in 1996. I think they were only around for like 3 years. They were, from Michigan. They rose from the ashes of the band Fatal, which, if you're a Midwestern guy, if you live in Michigan, you definitely would remember Fatal if you were into death metal in the early and mid '90s. They were kind of a local legendary death metal band, and they were really good. Fatal, I think they only had demos, but I could be wrong. So this is completely different. There's no death metal here at all. This is like gothic symphonic black metal. Clearly, they were paying attention to that kind of stuff, and that's the direction some of these guys wanted to go in. Fortunately for me, I like a lot of that kind of black metal. So there's a lot of keyboards here, from what I remember. I've only listened to it once. I remember a lot of keyboards, a lot of female vocals, I think. Lots of gothic elements. If you like later or mid-era Dimmu Borgir, if you like Cradle of Filth. They don't necessarily sound like those bands, but if you like those bands, I think you'd be open to the Lords of Algol. It's a decent album. I mean, I didn't expect a lot. I mean, this is from some record label I've never heard of. It's kind of cheaply made. No offense if you guys ever see this, but it's a decent listen if you like that kind of black metal. So, anyways, that's all I got for now, guys. I am working on a lengthy video that will actually probably be 2, 3, maybe even 4 parts. I'm going to do kind of a retrospective on the Australian underground metal scene. Like I said, retrospective. It's not going to go to like the 70s. I'm not going to talk about AC/DC and Rose Tattoo, but I am going to I am going to talk about the stuff that, the more extreme side of things that would start in the early 80s with their thrash metal scene and going on all the way until today, basically. One of my favorite countries for metal, hands down. So it's actually been really fun to do. I'm in the process of writing. I haven't started recording yet, but I got that, and then I'll have my end of year list. That might be uploaded probably within the next few days. Actually, I need to get that finished. I'm still finalizing my list. I've been tweaking it all month, but I'm just gonna bite the bullet and just say, dude, you've had enough time, and I'm gonna record that probably this weekend. So you can look forward to those cool things that I'm working on, or at least I think they're cool. You could decide if you think they're cool or not. But yeah, as always, thanks for stopping by. We will talk soon. Louis says hello. He's eyeballing me right now. Fucking cheers.